All right, welcome. We're now in the new year, 2026. We're excited to have in studio Byron Belka, a good friend, a neighbor, and an amazing founder and entrepreneur. So, Byron, welcome to the show.
Hey, AJ, thanks for having me, man. Excited to be here.
This is cool. Jake and I are excited to get to know your story and what you've done, and it's good to have you in town because I know you're traveling all over the world all the time.
Yeah, that's been my MO for a long time. So it's good to be home.
That's awesome. Well, Byron is a founder of the Well Collective, which is the most recent thing. And then he was an owner and a founder and a CEO of a company called Rain International for about a decade or so. And he's just done so many really cool things. So we're excited to dive in.
Oh, love it. This is what I spent so many years doing, and I love being able to learn from other people and being able to share experiences for sure.
Very cool. Well, let's start out with a 30-second pitch on what you're doing right now with the Well Collective, what that is, what you're trying to accomplish, what the mission is, and then we'll dive into other things after that.
Well, we call it collective marketing, unlike affiliate marketing or anything like that, because we're using all the new technologies to make it more about a collective. So really what we're doing is we're taking a market share approach. We're able to reward people for things they're not used to being rewarded for. So we're always so used to being rewarded on a result, but we're never rewarded for all the actions it takes to get to the result. And today, because of technology and blockchain, you can reward things that actually have a value for the actions that it takes to get to the result. So we're the first company that is going to reward, an entrepreneur or somebody that's trying to build something to build themselves. And when we talk about wellness, Well Collective, wellness is a lot more than just, what we put in our body. It's social, it's mental, it's emotional, it's all these different things. And so,
Academic, even
yeah, yeah,
educational, yeah.
educational. And so if we can reward people for the process of getting the result, we still reward for the transaction, right? So I would say what we're doing, we're creating the first community where people get rewarded for the actions and the transactions that they do to build themselves in a business.
So who is your ideal client or customer, Byron?
Basically, anybody that's out there trying to move something forward, whether it's a brand in the health and wellness space, whether it's an individual that's trying to personally develop, you got everybody trying to do side hustles. And I think that a lot of people can be discontent with, maybe feeling like what they're doing is really not theirs. Um, you know, Everybody wants to be an influencer so they can be taken advantage of. Or we're seeing in even the direct sales space or different areas where people are building something, comp plans being changed on them, thought stuff's being pulled out from under them. And
Even at the founder level. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
we had that last week where one of the founders said, "Ooh, I had a terrible situation with one of my partners," right?
and so people just try to breathe that confidence back that when I'm building something, and that's another thing that blockchain can do, because so many times people think blockchain is Bitcoin. It's almost like I was exposed to the internet the first time uh, through email. Get email, AOL account. So you could think that the internet's email, but it's so much more than email, as we know today. Same thing with blockchain. People think it's cryptocurrency. No, it's not.
That's just a
It's
surface.
the surface of what it can do, but it can create the trust and transparency and ownership that you just can't get anywhere else. And so if you're using that in these new models now, then you really can give something and back it up, on the chain or on blockchain that's somebody's organization is theirs. What they do is theirs, and they're rewarded for that. So I think it's just bringing trust and transparency back to an industry where you know you, you have people involved, and when there's people involved, things can happen. And so that's really what we're after, is just doing that, just building a community where people build something that's theirs, but that we can reward for things that they're just not used to being rewarded for. And that's the actions, kind of the lead measures that get you to the lag results.
How are you rewarding that? What do those rewards look like?
See, that's the beauty. That's where it comes to a token. See, so there's lots of different types of tokens coming out now. The utility token is how you do it. So you've got the community using the same token, and the community and the token and the utility for that token is for that purpose, to reward. So kind of like, you go to Marriott, you get Marriott reward points, or you go to Delta, you get, Delta Sky Miles. You can do that in communities. You can do that in companies. You can do that in, everything's starting to be tokenized. And so the difference is now, as a community grows, everything in the community of value grows. And so it's all action-based. So everybody that's participating in that has a benefit from it. So now, for example, when I used to do sales, well, I still do sales, but
We're always in sales,
yeah,
right?
we're in sales no matter what. But my previous company, we're in over 43 countries. And if you had one country doing better than another country, I mean, if you're in another country, you could use that for reference and try to motivate you and your team and your organization. But there was really no direct correlation how that could benefit you. But if a community is growing and everything in the community is growing and the value of that community is growing, including the token, then anybody that has the token anywhere in the world that received that reward, if Marriott said, hey, just so you know, all of our point value just tripled for everyone, then everybody benefited, not just one person. And so that's how you can make it more of a community effort where, yes, you're still getting rewarded for your individual results and you're still getting rewarded for the transactions, but now you can be rewarded on the other end too. But as a community, you're all working together to improve that scenario for everyone. So it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of unique because you don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's almost like what Henry Ford said. If I would have asked people what they wanted, they'd say a faster horse because they didn't know the value of vehicles for the masses. And so you don't know what you don't know. I mean, we didn't know that. I don't know. GPS was cool. We thought paper maps were cool until GPS came out. And we're not going back to paper maps. So, but you don't know until you have it.
It's funny, our kids don't even know how to read maps.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So I think that's a scenario that we're in. It's new, but once people get it, I think that in the future, it's like, why would you do something if you can't get rewarded for it on all these ways? And if you can't really control and own it and have the trust and transparency that this new technology is going to give every industry.
So Byron, walk us through just use case so the audience can understand. So, key renters, I've got my employees, right?
Yeah.
6 or 7 of them, and they do something really good, and I want to highlight that for the whole group. So I say, hey, you just earned X number of tokens, and they're worth this much, and you can use them in how? How can they use them?
Yeah, they gotta be, it's what's called, you gotta have like a full utility. So, if you always need to be able to use them within the ecosystem. I mean, that's what it's for, the utility in the ecosystem. So for example, since we have in the Well Collective, we're trying to build the individual and we care about their wellness. If somebody exercises, they earn tokens. If somebody, gets on a training, they earn tokens. If somebody takes a course that's going to better them, they can earn tokens. If somebody does service in their community, they can earn tokens. So any of these we call them like the 6 pillars of wellness. So we got key things, or building the community. You send a video out to 10 people about what's going on, you earn tokens. And so all of that's in what you call a tokenomics, or kind of the framework or blueprint of a project. And so everybody knows what to expect and how that works. And then they can use those tokens in the collective to,
like a marketplace.
Yeah, the marketplace. Yeah,
Okay.
a marketplace to purchase things, to get discounts, to get first looks or purchases of things, and then if they use the token in the marketplace instead of cash, they get a 10% discount. So it's better for them to use the token. So you got this flywheel where people do actions, that earn them the token, and with the tokens they can purchase products and stuff, which create transactions. And the whole cycle. And then if they don't use our token, and that's what we're trying to do, is 99% of the people, I think, don't really understand blockchain, or they're scared of it, because you got to be nervous still out there. And so if we can make it easy for the masses to experience it for the first time, and just say, if all you're doing is you like protein, or you like this health product, the other way that we use the token and the reward is kind of, everyone has like a loyalty program. And so now if somebody buys product, they get so many points towards free product. This just happens to be a token now. So now if all somebody's doing is just buying product every single month because they like it, well, they're getting 5% back in tokens that they can use for future product or whatever. But that creates the flywheel, because in blockchain, since everything is visible for everybody to see. That's why, RFK Jr., when he was going to run to be, a candidate for president, he said that if he won, he'd put the entire budget on blockchain, because then everybody could see if somebody bought a toilet seat for 17 grand. Every American could see that. You can't hide it on blockchain. So it's just open. It's a ledger that is visible for everyone if they know how to see it.
Fascinating.
Crazy.
What's the token called, Byron?
It's a collective reward token.
Okay.
It's a CRT, we call it.
Got
Collective
it.
reward token, yeah.
How cool. So this is a pretty big build, because not only are you building, the token, but you're also building the full collective around it and the full marketplace around it.
Yeah. And we call it, we're coming up with all these new terms and stuff. We call it a phygital marketplace, because it's all the physical stuff and all the digital stuff coming together.
Phygital. Oh, I like
Phygital,
that.
yeah. So,
Okay.
because typically if you're in the crypto space, you have to do everything in crypto. If you're in the fiat or normal currency space, you have to do everything that way. And in our marketplace, we're blending the two. So you can buy physical products with crypto, with stable coins or our token. And then you can buy, digital products, blockchain products with fiat, which banks used to not do, and so they were nervous of it. And so that's part of the process, is convincing banks, and they're starting to see that, hey, this is the world. We got to figure out how to get into it, because typically if you wanted to buy a digital or a blockchain product, you got to, take your cash, convert it on ramp, convert it into crypto of some kind, and then purchase. But now in our marketplace, you can buy it with your debit card.
How does central bank see some of this, Jake?
Yeah. Yeah. We're definitely not at the forefront of blockchain
Yeah,
or
yeah.
crypto or any of that stuff. I'm interested in what took you down this path. Like why did you choose this? Did you kind of fall into it, or did your experience
Well,
with Rain
Yeah,
send you here?
I mean, just being out there in the marketplace and seeing how this can fix so many things. I mean, seeing all just the pitfalls in business in general. But I had to play the Forex game whether I wanted to or not. And then, before the war in Ukraine and Russia, I had a business in Moscow. I had a business in Kiev. And I mean, even if I had hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in the bank, central banks don't want to give up USD. So I could only get 30,000 at a time when that was my money. I have money sitting in Nigeria, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I can get 10 grand at a time, And so I have to go through the secondary market, which I still think is run by governments, or you don't know, but you got to go other routes to still legally do it. But it's just hard to do this international business. And then the thing I like, and I even started to see American Express do this, where they would take large chunks of money, convert it into Bitcoin, transfer it for pennies across the globe, and convert it back into dollar. And so you still track it all, but you started seeing that digital currencies, I can send, especially when you're dealing with affiliates and reps, and you're paying commissions to tens of thousands of people. If you're on blockchain and you're doing it in a digital form, I can wire, $1 million to somebody in seconds for hundredths of a penny. So I get paid commissions, and it costs me paying all the SEPA transaction fees and all those different types of things. So you start to see that. And then in a lot of these emerging markets, the people just aren't bankable. A lot of people don't have a bank account. And so now if somebody has the internet, they can get a digital wallet. And so you can pay everybody still. And so you're still keeping track of everything. So you saw commissions were a problem. Moving money was a problem.
And maybe even the valuation of currencies, because those fluctuate
Exactly,
constantly, right?
Exactly. I mean, that happened to us, in a lot of different countries. Nigeria was one of them, where, we used to get like 280 naira to $1, and now I think it's like 1,800 or something. So it's crazy. So now there's merchant service providers that on those kind of, novelty currencies, you can do a cash to crypto option. So if I don't want Vietnamese dong, and Disney's doing this too. Disney's saying, hey, if you want to buy our products, we have our own token now. It's called Dragon. I don't want your currency. You go and you get our currency and you buy our products from us in our currency, and we're not going to play that game. So you're starting to see big businesses that can do that start to do that. And so with some of these newer providers, people are paying with their local currency to purchase a product. But what they're doing is they're actually purchasing a token that then purchases the product. So they can use their currency, they get the product, but the company gets something they can move around and do something with. And it's not stuck or trapped. And so you're starting to see a lot of this stuff emerging. And then on top of that, just the trust and transparency. Like if you have it about a blockchain and everybody has rights in a blockchain or in a project or in a token to have votes, then you can say that, hey, if you're part of this community in your building, if we're going to change a comp plan, we're going to have the votes. And so we can't do it unless a majority of the community voted. Now, in blockchain, you can track that. And, you know, like if voting was on blockchain, there could be no fraud.
Mm.
There could be no fraud. And that's the crazy thing. So like I said, it's just an industry that's taking over because it's just, there's so many applications for it.
So the reason this, and just because I know your background a little bit, the reason this is so important to you is because at Rain, which was a seed-based wellness product, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had distributors all around the country, no, the world, really,
Yeah, all around the world.
and so you saw these problems firsthand.
Oh yeah, you see the problems firsthand, and then you see, the issues with how are you getting them paid, the issues with products and services. And here's another thing that the Well Collective fixes. It's typically, in what I learned, we would own our own brands, so we'd manufacture product, spend millions of dollars in manufacturing, and then you got to put millions of dollars on containers, and then you got to spend a lot of money in customs and duties and clearance, and you got millions of dollars of inventory sitting everywhere. So now what we're doing with the collective is it's a marketplace of brands. So we want people and our members in the community bring us brands, and so now I can find the best brands in Asia and put them in our community. I can find the best brands in Australia or Europe. I don't have to worry about customs and duties and tariffs and all of those things. I can just focus on, what are the best services and products that we can have here. And what I love about that is I don't have a dog in the fight. If you have millions of dollars in inventory in a product that you like because it's yours, if something better comes along, one, you might not admit it's better, and you're still going to promote your thing because you've got so much invested into it.
Mm.
Where what I love about the collective is if something better, bring it in. We want to have the best products and service. We do the brand agreements with different brands to bring it in to have our marketers market their products. And, I don't have a dog in the fight. So we just want what's best for the people that are in our community.
That's cool. So Byron, to go back to Jake's question a little bit earlier. So you grew up in Salt Lake, right? And then you went to, tell us more about your journey. Like, where did you go to college and all the things? How did you get to this point?
Well, yeah, grew up in West Valley, and
All right, West Valley.
oh yeah, absolutely. No, it was awesome. But and yeah, I wasn't the brightest student, and so came home, did student government, went to Salt Lake Community College, and got hit up on all the summer sales programs that were starting way back then.
That was right when it was
That
just
was
getting
right when it was going.
yeah.
And I remember, some of the first summers where we did like 1,000 accounts in a summer. It's like, oh, that's huge, And so
Was this pest control or alarms or which?
it was alarms.
Alarms,
It was
okay.
home security. So I got into kind of that space, and then
You're talking to a couple guys here that did summer sales as
yeah.
well, so
Oh yeah.
we're all in the same boat.
So did that for a few years, and I just was an entrepreneur. I just bounce around and do different things. I was able to talk somebody in my 20s that had a large credit line to let me use $10 million of their credit limit, and I became a lender during the refi boom back years ago. When interest rates went down the first time.
Pre-2008, right?
Yeah. It's like 2003, around that area, early 2000s. So I became, a lender, selling paper to the banks, and then, just kept getting hit up with this direct sales networking stuff, here in Utah all the time, and never really took it serious until I had an opportunity to go back to a place where I'd done my service mission, in Hungary, had a chance to take some businesses over there, and yeah, the rest is kind of history. So that kind of became a niche for me, that area and region of the world. So I moved my family back over there for about a year when we had young kids.
Oh, so
Dang.
you moved to Hungary.
Yeah,
Wow, I didn't know that part of it.
yeah. We opened up countries for a company, and then you kind of get into your niche, and then that was kind of it. And how I got into Rain was that same thing is some people that I met from the alarm industry had helped invest into a company, and they wanted to expand, and I teamed up with them, and they kind of pivoted, went a different direction, and I had a chance to do an asset purchase agreement with them and with some of my partners, and had zero desire to own the company. I was more of a builder, a sales guy. I built the teams, let's go sell, and ended up taking over, and then we took that company for about 14 years and just built it all over the world.
How many at your
Amazing.
peak? How many distributors did you have? Because you had
We had a
lot.
lot of distributors, but I mean, I would say, ones that would buy or participate like on a monthly basis, probably 35, 40,000.
Wow,
I mean, but hundreds of thousands
amazing.
come and go, But if you look at the books, we had hundreds of thousands of people for sure. But
And the model was multi-level,
yeah,
right?
yeah, it was multi-level.
To get it out there really fast.
Yeah, which I loved, especially for those poor regions of the world. People would say like, well, how can they afford it? Why would you go to Bosnia? Why would you go to Nigeria? Well, the thing is I love those areas because $300 a month changes lives. And sometimes when you're dealing with entrepreneurs,
For them to earn that much is what you're saying.
yeah, they earn that much and they've replaced their income. They're full time. Sometimes in the States, even years ago, you get somebody making an extra $5,000 or $7,000 a month, and they're still kind of not really committed fully. Where you can get people to commit for certain parts of the world. You just see them like $500 a month they're making, and they are lifers. And they go and do amazing things. So I just love it that it's kind of an even playing field for everybody, and that's what we're trying to do with this new stuff, is keep it that way, where you don't have somebody that just has a loud voice, and just because they've got the owner's ear or whatever, they come in, and maybe they did something somewhere else, now they're going to change everything about the company and a comp plan, and you hurt tens of thousands of people or make decisions or whatever. If you can make it about a community, and the community that helped build it's voting, it's a totally different game. And then you can go out with confidence and build because you know that you have at least a say, maybe not all say, you have a vote in the direction things are going.
Fascinating. Yeah. You kind of glossed over this, but I'm sure
Yeah.
that this was a much heavier moment in your life when the founders of the company came to you and said, "Hey, we're pivoting, we're going a different direction." And you had this decision of like, "Hey, do I buy this thing from them and run with it, or am I just going to look for something else?"
Well, I mean, I know exactly where I was. I was at the Marriott Hotel, walking on the treadmill, staring at the Danube River. I was gonna do an event that night. We sold tickets for, I think we had like 700-800 people or something come to an event that night. And I was presenting at it, and I got a message that the company was gonna dissolve, and
This was for Rain, right?
Yeah. They were gonna dissolve. They were gonna shut things down. And here I was. I'd left the previous company to come to Rain, and I left some significant teams and volume to come here, and all these people trusted me, and now I was going to have to go tell them that we're not doing it anymore. And so I remember I went and I met with my leaders that day before the meeting, and I said, I've always tried to be honest and upfront with my team and my people and say, okay, this is what I just heard, but here's the thing. I mean, I don't know how, but we're going to figure out how to take this thing over. It's too good, and so that's the beginning of it. So we went and did that meeting that night still, and then it was,
the people you were presenting to were like salespeople for your organization.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's hard to keep your composure when you know what you know, and yet you have to put on a face that everything's okay, huh?
Yeah. So the main leaders that were had all those groups, we came together and basically said, they said they would support me and whatever we needed to do to make it happen. So then I had to go out there and find the capital, find the people. So I mean, it's like trying to build a railroad track when the train's already moving. You know, it's
Right.
already, and that's what we had to do. So, but
Why did the other owners though? Why did you get that call in the first place? Why would they? I mean, you guys were doing multi-millions of dollars every month in volume.
at that
So
point they weren't doing multi-millions at that point.
at that
It was
point, no.
newer. Yeah, it was
Okay.
still new. It's just, you know, and in business sometimes, you know, you get into something if you haven't been in it before, and you realize, okay, this is probably gonna take a lot more than I thought or that I'm willing to do.
So they didn't want to do the build.
Yeah, or the investment capital necessary.
Got it.
You know, so I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of reasons. I don't know all their reasons, but I just know that sometimes people, you know, especially in Utah, they see all these companies in direct sales or affiliate marketing or network marketing. They can think they can start one for 500 grand or $1 million. You can't. No, you can't. You know, so it takes a lot more than you think it is. I mean, as we all know, and it's just entrepreneurs in general. It's going to take 3 times as long and 3 times the money. You know, and
Amen.
that's just how it goes.
Right.
Always.
Always.
Yep.
Always than what we think, even if it's something that we're familiar with, an industry we're familiar with. But yeah, I think that that's really what it came down to is the time and the energy and the money that it was going to take. It's probably more than they originally had thought. So
then at that point, what year was that exactly when that all went down?
that was going down in 2010.
Okay, so then at that point you said, "Well, we're gonna make this work." You took over as CEO essentially. Went out and raised money.
Not originally.
Not originally. Okay.
First, I was their top salesman. I was their top leader, and so I went out there and I found the person that manufactured and got them on board. I brought the person on board that had the back office. I tried to bring in the key people that we needed. I had the leaders, and so we kind of bring them all together and got everybody together and committed, and then we had to just go out and more than anything just bootstrap it and sell our way out of the scenario, you know. So that was kind of it. I remember those, like you said, traveling a lot. You know, there's a lot of times I'd kind of like give Monica a kiss and see you when we've got enough money to pay the bills. You know, kind of a
Could
thing.
be days, could be
Yeah,
weeks.
yeah.
Hopefully not months.
Exactly. Yeah, that's just kind of how it goes in business. You know, sometimes you just got to just proceed with faith and get out there and make it happen. So,
So what's the end of the rain story with you?
oh no, grain's great experience. But I just saw all the trends going a certain way, you know, and just making sure, that, you know, the alignment, you know, with my partners, we wanted to go different directions, and so yeah. I mean, the rain's still there. You know, they're still there, and you know, I've moved on and put this whole thing together, and you know, being in the trenches and being out there and kind of working with the teams and building the teams. I don't know. For me, I think like we could look in the parking lot and someone could be laying on the ground. We could be like, we could all guess what's wrong, but we're gonna know if we go up and say, "Hey, how you doing?" You know,
What's
when you're-
going on?
Yeah, what's going on? When you check, and that's you know, being on the road and being in the markets and seeing, you know, I could see a lot of the writing on the wall. And it wasn't a problem with rain. It's a problem with the industry. It's a problem with a lot of the.
It's slowly spiraling downward.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's changing. It's morphing.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole world. I mean, the old way of doing direct sales and networking, where this is the only brand. Like if I were to tell my daughters, you know, that are in their 20s, that
Great daughters.
Yeah,
great
yeah.
great family.
we got
Byron's got an
two
awesome
girls,
family.
2 boys. Yeah, but if I were to tell them that, hey, I want you to promote this brand on social, and you can't promote anything else. I mean, they're not going to do that. The rising generation is not going to stick to just one product or one thing. And so I think this whole where networking companies try to own a person, or you can't sell anything else, or maybe you'll lose your check, or we'll kick you out, or this, or the whole thing needs to change. And so that's what I think. It's not, you know, one company, it's the industry. It's morphing because it seems like you had to reinvent yourself every 3 to 5 years in a networking company or a direct sales company. I think it's faster now because there's so much information, so many new products. And so,
And to differentiate is really
and to
hard.
differentiate. So,
Yeah.
so, something new comes out and everyone's trying to have their version of it. Well, how about we just go get the best one and promote it together and everybody wins? Why don't we come up with a collective, where we're bringing in the best brands? And then the other thing is too, is now if a brand's not pulling their weight, kind of like an Amazon, we can say as a community, okay, well, we need another brand. But the marketplace, the Well Collective as a whole, doesn't have the black eye because that was just a brand that we brought in and we thought it didn't work out. We're going to find something better. This is good. It's the community working together rather than, oh, you stocked out of that product again, and then you have the black eye and maybe it just got stuck in custom. There's so many different things.
Yeah.
So I love that it's more about where people can take pride and feel like that they're a part, in a way of this community having a piece of it.
So Byron, from just to go back to the rain experience a little bit more too. So you took it from zero because you had just started it out, that you guys just got it going, to at its peak, what, $100 million company
It was
ish?
about 60.
About 60 million.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. So when we took over was doing about 300,000 a month.
got it.
Sorry, 300,000 that year, and then the following year it was about 10 million, and then we kind of
You scaled it from there
$10 million increments, like 10 million, 20 million, 30, 40, 50.
using the same network that you had previously from your last
No.
opportunity, or you built a new network.
New network.
Wow.
I'm not a big. I'm not going to tell you that what I built with you was it and it was amazing, and then come back and tell you another story.
There's a different product now.
Yeah, next month.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to do that. If somebody had left that company or other people that know, I'm not going to take something. If someone's got a good thing going with a company, I don't want to ruin that for them. I'm not going to go after other people. I'm not going to do that. So, and I haven't.
It's a high level of integrity right there.
Well, I mean, there's enough people out there. I mean, it's just this abundance mentality or scarcity. And then what happens is people are attracted to you. If they wanted to come, they'll just follow. You don't need to convince.
Yeah.
I love how I can see the path now, like how all of
Yeah.
the history of your career has kind of led you to this point with Well Collective. It's kind of a fun journey. It helps me understand a little bit more about what you guys do and why you're approaching this problem right now. What's on the horizon for you guys, and what are you excited for next?
Wow, I'm just excited for the connections. I'm excited for the collaborations. That's the thing that I feel like, we're going to be able. Every day is you wake up and it's a treasure hunt. What's the new relationship you're going to bring in the wellness community that you can bring in the community, or somebody that can help us with this, or a product that we can bring here, or a network that can tie into it, or there's just so many. It's not the cut and dry way of doing things anymore. And so I think the thing that excites me the most about it is just the relationships that you can build and the connections that you can make, where before you couldn't do all of them. Like, for example, if you're a pure network marketing company, there's no way that you can be working with doctors and clinics because that would be seen as competition, or be working here or having something in Costco. But if you have connections and through the collective you can get something in Costco, then the whole collective wins. It's a different game. Just like I'm not going to tell someone that joins the collective, if there's something outside the collective that you're doing, you can't be here. At the same time, we're going to do things to improve the collective. If we do get an opportunity to have a product line that can just go through hospitals, but yet some of the profits and proceeds still benefit everybody in the collective, it's just a win for everybody. So it opens so many more doors. And I know that's a very broad answer to your question, but that's what excites me, is just all the possibilities that I know could happen anyway, but that I haven't been able to experience, because now, it's kind of broadening the things that we can do. And more than anything, the thing that fires me up the most is just seeing people win, So I think in this
That's
type
awesome.
of a scenario, more people are going to win. More people are going, because as the community grows and the value of the community grows and the value of the token grows, it grows for everybody.
Especially those with less opportunity.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And so now if somebody joins a collective, because typically if you were to join a direct sales company or network marketing company and you don't build a team, you're not going to benefit at all, right? Maybe you get some good products, but then you're a customer. You weren't a distributor, you weren't a builder. What I love about the collective, somebody could join the collective and just work on making themselves better. educating themselves, like we're talking about wellness, the 6 pillars of wellness, and they're getting rewarded for personally developing. They're getting rewarded for becoming healthier. I mean, we go to the gym, we pay. We go to a doctor, we pay. We go to a chiropractor, we do all these things, we pay. But what if it was flipped? I go to the gym, I get rewarded. I do this, I get rewarded. I buy a health product, I get rewarded.
I'm down with that. That would be
See,
amazing.
That's the difference. So now I can have somebody that wants to be a part of the community that doesn't do anything except for build themselves, and they still win. And so that's what I love about this is you give a chance for more people to win, and it's an even playing field for more people to win because we're all playing with that same equalizer, which is the utility token.
So Byron, this is this is so cool. It feels so broad to me because you could really, target anyone, right? So how are you building this Well Collective? Like, what industries are you specifically targeting right now?
Right now, obviously, we're looking for health and wellness brands
Okay.
and products that are looking for another place to promote their products or services. And
Expand beyond what they're already doing.
And then we're looking for either influencers, affiliate marketers, people that are into just fitness, networkers.
There's so many of those too.
Any of those people.
So many.
That's the new. That's the direction. There's so many side hustles and stuff now, but we're going to create an opportunity for some of those people to say, okay, you could pay for Shopify, or you could come pay here, put all your products on ours, sell your stuff. Oh, but by the way, if you want to use our catalog or we like some of your products, we're going to use some of your catalog. Let other people in our collective sell your stuff. Here's the brand agreement if they do. I mean, it's like a natural progression to be able to find like great products,
Yeah.
great
Got it.
services, all that stuff.
It's fascinating. And I think the other thing is I think the thing that's outdated with the current financial model that we have is those transaction fees are just crazy. So like if you can eliminate some of those, then everybody's doing better.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's so true. Yeah. When you're talking hundreds or thousands of a penny to send something across the globe.
Yeah. Crazy. Versus 3%.
Yeah.
Like that. It's crazy.
It is. And that's the digital world is you can do that. And you can track it all too.
That's what I don't understand why banks aren't keeping up or like the
Yeah.
financial industry is not keeping up because it's like, if I'm doing this over the internet on QuickBooks or on my accounting software and it's entirely electronic, I can go get a check from one of my customers here in the building, right? Like I can go get a rent check and I can go deposit that rent check at the bank for free. But if they want to connect their bank account to my bank account and just send the money over the internet, it costs me 2%. So it's like, this person's paying me $10,000 a month. That's a huge fee every month to just make that one transaction. Or I could just go pick up a check like it's $19.95 for free.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like the bank doesn't want you to do checks, but they're incentivizing you to do checks.
To keep it old school.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's like there's way more fraud associated with the old way of doing business. So the bank doesn't want you to do it that way.
Yeah.
But they're incentivizing it.
Yeah,
still.
it's more cost effective for the person to do it that way.
Yeah, but it's more cost effective for the bank to do it electronically. That's what I don't understand. The incentives aren't aligned.
No, it's true. It's true. And that's why I think you're going to start seeing more of them start going that direction out of necessity. It's like, okay, if you can't beat them, I guess we're going to have to join them, because, and there's still, you got to be cautious out there. In any industry, there's going to be people that manipulate and unfortunately, I've lost way more money than I want to admit, in the crypto world, trying to figure out the legit way to do it and the wrong way to do it. And
it's just like everything, probably.
Just anything, figuring out, how it goes. And so there's still stuff that needs to be, expanded upon that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good. It's not all scary.
Yeah. For founders and entrepreneurs that are listening to this show, Byron, that are still, like we talked about at the very beginning part of the show, that are still nervous or on edge about, crypto and blockchain, what would you tell them? Or how would you help them understand how to learn more about this?
Well, no, I think that there's a lot of great things that you can learn on the internet today, but I think you should educate yourself on just what blockchain is, what exchange, what's the difference between a blockchain and a token and a reward and all these different things. Obviously make sure that your wallets are protected. That's another thing too, is you can have secure wallets, you can have, unsecure wallets type of a thing. But I think more than anything, if people are going to dabble, to dabble on, you know, you know, a frequent flyer mile type thing, or to do something like that, it's a lot easier. You don't have to buy like a full Bitcoin for, you know, wherever it's at, 100,000.
100,000
Yeah,
ish.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's so, but that's the thing, is just get your first blockchain wallet or crypto wallet, and on ramp some cash and just a little bit, and then just see. I mean, more than anything, more and more places are starting to accept it, and you go to buy things, transactions, and all that kind of stuff. And for them, they don't have to pay the 3% merchant processing fee. It's cheaper for them too. So there's lots of reasons why I think that when things are better, they ultimately win. Obviously, at first they're ridiculed. If we look at history, then they're violently opposed, and then they start to be accepted by the masses. So that's the process with anything. It's ridiculed at first, and then it still takes. So then they have to violently oppose it, and then it becomes adopted.
Then they adopted it.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Byron, where do people find more about you and what you're building?
Yeah. Oh, wellcollective.com. They can find us on the wellcollective.com there to see our marketplace, or you can go to collectiverewardtoken.com to learn more about a reward token. And so we don't sell a token. You have to earn it. That's the beautiful thing. That's what keeps us a utility. So
you can't get it on like Robinhood or one of these.
You can if somebody, like if you go to a work party and somebody, you get a TV, because you won something from your work party, you could go and sell that TV, on eBay or on Amazon or whatever. You could go sell it. So people can take this token and sell it into secondary markets and exchanges and stuff like that, because it does have a value. But that's not really what we're promoting. We're promoting use it within our ecosystem, all these types of things like that. So yeah, somebody could go buy it, but somebody would have had to have sold it.
Got it.
Yeah.
So fascinating. And Byron does a lot of, thought leadership on all the socials and things. So
yeah,
look for you there.
Yeah, you can look for me on probably Instagram. Yeah.
Instagram.
At Byron Belka.
Okay. Anything
Thank
else?
you.
Anything else you want to say while we're here?
No, well, just thanks for having me. I'm excited to be able to share this platform with as many people as we can, because, like I said, the more people can educate themselves on this stuff, I think they're going to be better equipped for the future, because I don't think it's going away.
And it will be fully launched by the time this show airs.
Yeah. And the good thing is the marketplace right now is launched. The products are launched. Just our token on top of it is going to be launched in February.
Good luck with everything.
Right,
Thanks, Byron.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
See ya.